particular situation, your body triggers a fight or flight response. Now, I'm sure most of you have heard this before, but fight being obviously stand up and face your problem, and flight being to run away and try to get out of whatever situation you're in. Some people's response may be a little different, and in different situations, your response can differ as well. In one particular situation, I found myself, and my response was to fight. But before that, like any other small 12-year-old girl, I did run away at first. When one day, on a warm spring day after school, I was faced with a difficult situation, I was at my best. Before I start this story, there's a few things that you should know. One, as I mentioned, I was 12 years old. My older brother was 14, and my younger brother was, I think, 8. My parents worked till 5:30, so after school we would ride the bus home. And you could hardly ever reach my parents. They never answered their phone. You couldn't try to text them, you couldn't try to call them. They would never answer. My older brother, being in 9th grade, had golf practice after school, so he did not ride the bus home with us. And we live in the country, and as some of you know, I have a very long driveway. The first part of it starts out pretty flat, then there's a big hill, and then the last part of it is covered in woods, and there's a long path that you take all the way to my house. We have neighbors to our right. I don't really call them neighbors, they're not your typical town neighbors. I do not know these people. I've never seen their house, and I don't know who they are. They have a lot of dogs, probably 6 or 7. And these are not your typical fluffy, nice dogs. These are pretty big dogs, pretty scary, always bark at you. Sometimes they'll even run at you, but they never came onto our side of the property. Like I said, the bus did not go up our driveway. They dropped us off at the side of the road and we would walk all the way up. Every single day I would time ourselves to see how long it would take us to get us to our house. On an average, it took us probably about 3 minutes, but if I could stretch it, I could get up there in 2 minutes. Anyway, this day when the bus dropped us off, me and my little brother started our 3-minute trek up the driveway. The dogs, per normal, started barking at us. I realized that they were out of their kennel when they started coming onto our side of the property. I saw them, and normally when I see them, I'll jog up the hill just to get away from them, because they don't like going into the woods. That day, I jogged up part of the hill, but I was too tired and I didn't really care. So I stopped probably in the middle of the hill. My little brother, who was behind me, didn't care at all. He was off in his own world, kicking his feet in the dirt and just staring at something in his hand. Like I said, I wasn't really paying much attention, and I heard gravel messing around, ruffling behind me. I just assumed it was my brother trying to catch up to me. But then I heard a yelp. I turned around and I saw my brother, and 3 of the dogs were right up to his heels and basically scratching him and messing with him. So he turned around and started running. I started running too. I made it to the top of the hill and I looked back to see how my brother was doing. The dogs were still chasing him. I yelled at him to keep running up, and I knelt down and grabbed a bunch of rocks off of the gravel driveway. Once he came up and got closer to me, I started throwing the rocks at the dogs to try to get them to go away. They finally kind of stopped and backed away. Once they turned around and left, I turned around to see where my brother was going. He had almost already made it to the house, so I took off after him. Once I made it inside, I saw Layton, my little brother, on a chair holding his leg, crying and saying, "The dog bit me, Ellery." And so I was so flustered and I tried to call my parents. I called my mom, I called my dad, and I called my mom again. Nobody was answering. So I knew I had to do something by myself. I took a warm cloth and wiped my brother's leg. After closer inspection, the dog did not bite him, maybe left a few scratches, but he was okay. I gave him an ice pack, gave him a Band-Aid, because Band-Aids make everything better for 3rd grade boys. I gave him a piece of chocolate and let him watch a movie till my parents came home. That day, I faced some scary circumstances, but remained calm and helped my brother through it. I realized that I'm good in difficult situations, and I can stay calm and I can help people. That was not the last time that those dogs chased us up the hill, but I was always reminded to stay calm and hold my ground. That was a time that I was at my best.